Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am the Rural OT, and today's focus for my first video is I'm going to be doing a day in the life of an OT. I want to share what my day-to-day activities look like, how I structure my day, and the settings that I go to. I primarily work in home health, but today I was kind of pulled to help at some of the nursing homes, given that some of my coworkers were off today and needed some assistance. I hope you enjoy the video. Please feel free to drop down your questions or comments or any suggestions you might have for me. Let's get started. My mornings usually start pretty simple, getting ready, stepping out the door, and heading out for the day. And just a quick reminder, don't forget your coffee. Just make sure to wait about an hour to an hour and a half after waking up. It helps your energy last longer through the day. My first patient of the day is someone I've been working with on increasing independence and confidence. I always focus on what's meaningful to them. That's what occupational therapy is all about. Now it's time for that coffee I promised earlier. Alright, so first patient down. I'm heading to a different facility that I go and help out at. Long story short, there's a coworker that's been needing some help, and we really like to help each other out. I work for a great company, and we all love to help each other out. So I'm heading there about 35-40 miles from where I live. As you can see in the background, a lot of cornfields. It's harvest season. Farmers are at it and getting really busy. But yeah, with our first patient, he has, as I mentioned before, he has spina bifida, and I'm trying to get him a power scooter. So I've been working with a vendor, and we've been trying to get things delivered to him. So really the main process and how that works in relation to ordering the power chair is you have to make sure you get a referral first, obviously, and then from there I was able to contact the vendor, and we were able to get a face-to-face evaluation for the patient with their primary care physician, and then from there the vendor or the ATP will usually come to the home where the patient lives. So again, this has to be in a place where the patient lives. It has to be their home environment. That's how this is usually completed. And then from there, I write the letter of medical necessity. I send it to their primary care physician, and then the vendor receives all that paperwork. They get it processed. They bill the patient's insurance, and the wheelchair gets delivered. And then we, as the OTs, help train the patient with use of the power scooter, monitoring their skin, making sure they're repositioning themselves and they know how to use it. So that's a way that that's kind of a way that we do things. So that's just a quick brief overview of how I have done the wheelchair part. So feel free to drop a comment, or if you have any questions related to that process, feel free to let me know. Documentation isn't the most exciting part of the job, but it's crucial. This is where I reflect on progress, adjust goals, and make sure every session stays client-centered. It's also a moment to pause and think, what worked today? What didn't? And how can I make tomorrow's session more meaningful for this client? These notes aren't just paperwork. They're a story of someone's journey. Another building done. Wasn't too bad. I just saw two patients. She had an episode in the hospital due to being hypoxic. So she was having some trouble with her oxygen and having some heart problems as well. We worked on her strength. So some of the things that I was able to do with this patient was she's having a hard time weight shifting forward, and we had actually progressed really well with her. For the most part, she was stand pivoting with staff, doing very well in between the day, getting on the commode to toilet, that kind of thing. And all of a sudden, she's had quite a fear of falling, which is very common. A lot of times it can be for very many different reasons. Again, she's having some weakness, so that could certainly contribute to that. But also some of the staff carryover can be an issue, especially during the night and on weekends. So it's important that we educate, we practice, and we definitely advocate for the patient as much as we can. I was able to work on some stands with her, mostly focusing on shifting forward, as I mentioned before, just with some of the sequencing tasks as well, safety, monitoring her vitals, that kind of thing. So we had a really good session today. And then I was able to do a little bit of a shorter session with our other patient, just because it's time for lunch, or dinner as they say around here. I had recently switched her tuba grips, so I'm not a huge fan of tuba grips. I don't feel that they do what they're supposed to do. I think a better option would be tenso shapes, because they provide graduated compression. Again, this is just for general edema. If they're having lymphedema or other forms of swelling, definitely have to kind of see what works best. But for general edema, a large below knee tenso shape appears to work best. That's what I've seen work best with some of the patients I've been working with. So I'm just working with staff on carryover, making sure the patient is using them, and really overall just making sure that they're following through with all of that. I will link the product below if you guys are interested in seeing what a tenso shape is and how it differs from a normal tuba grip. So yeah, let's keep on going here. My last stop is at one of the nursing homes. It's a small but full of heart building. All right, so I made a quick teamwork here makes all the difference. Casey's, if you're from the Midwest, then you know about Casey's. We got through the last couple of patients in our last building. It started to rain, it started to pour on us. I wasn't able to record too much just because I got pretty busy with some of the patients I was seeing there. I did a group session with a couple of the skilled admissions from the building, which went pretty well. And then I saw a Part B patient for some wrist pain that they were having. So for the most part, the day has gone very well, and I am off to see my last patient for home health near my hometown. So let's end on a strong note. Well, we finally made it to the end. Thanks for sticking all the way through. I hope you learned something today. I hope that was helpful to give you an idea of what things look like for a rural occupational therapist. Again, please feel free to ask any questions, drop a comment down below, or any other suggestions you might have for me. I'm hoping down the line that I can get some permission to record some of my patients so that I can share some of the interventions that I do with some of the patients that I work with. I would like to focus on more specific skills like lymphedema. I've been seeing quite a few patients with that. I'd like to share some of the techniques that I use, including the manual lymphatic drainage, skincare, exercises, and some of the compression options that I use as well. Again, if this sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. This is only going to help me and my channel. That way I can spread more of this knowledge to others. Again, thanks for sticking all the way through. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.